Hi, everyone. It's Kathy Henry. I'm your host on Living in Santa Barbara, and I'm here with two of my new friends, Doug Grant and Meg Grant. They are newlyweds. I met them through my friend from Aspen, Rufus, and they are wonderful people, and I just wanted to introduce them to you.
So, thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Well, we kind of hatched this idea about a podcast a while ago. Meg and I were talking about it. You got so excited, right?
I did. I thought it was a great idea to have this sort of continuity within the town of Santa Barbara. I'm new here in the respect of the last, well, I guess it's almost 3 years, major life changes. And as I think quite a few other people also, whether you're here for, 2, 3 years or 18, 20 years.
I've been here a little longer than that.
You are one of the, what should we call you? Vintage.
You could call me vintage. You could call me Renaissance. You could call me born and raised.
Yeah. So Meg just moved here. Where did you move here from? And how did you guys meet?
I moved here from Indonesia. I came back due to COVID and thinking that I would be in America for 6 months. Went through a few changes with living in Los Angeles initially, taking jobs here and there along the way. Coming from Indonesia, I had my own interior design business and just taking a break from all of that. The country completely shut down. It was reverted back to the 80s, which in one sense was great. A lot less, people and traffic and tourism. But coming to America, it was timely for me.
Well, COVID changed a lot of people's lives. It set you off in a new direction.
Absolutely. It redefined my life path in the sense that I came to America and had it in the back of my mind that I would like to come back here again with just, it's just timely at this point in life.
I think a lot of people took COVID as a time to do the thing that they always wanted to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes the universe starts tapping you on the shoulder and eventually it starts throwing rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, time for a change.
The silver lining that COVID brought me was Meg.
Yeah. So Doug, wait, what's your story? Let's go back. And who's Doug Grant?
Oh, dear. Life story. There's not enough hours in the day to tell you that, but I was literally born and raised in Carpinteria. Lived here, never traveled anywhere until I was about 20 years old. And then I discovered...
You didn't even go to Los Angeles?
Well, yeah, I suppose I did.
How far away did you actually go?
Well, my dad, he took me on some really cool trips when I was younger. And so maybe I got the bug for traveling through him. He was an author, archaeologist, and he wrote many, many books on Chumash Indians.
Oh, okay.
And the rock art of the American Indian, rock art of the Chumash. And I got to go on a bunch of these really cool trips with him.
Was he born and raised in Carpinteria too?
He was actually originally from Oakland.
Okay.
But he spent his entire life in the Santa Barbara area.
Okay, yeah.
And with the exception of a few short years when he worked for Walt Disney as an illustrator.
Wow.
That was before I was born, though.
Uh-huh. Wow, what an eclectic guy.
Well, yeah. He was very interesting. He had a lot of different roles in life.
Uh-huh. Well, that's probably where you get it from.
Maybe. But no, I've age 20, I was got involved with professional motocross racing and traveled the world because of it. And I was fortunate enough to end up with a life partner that loves to travel the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah. Well, there's more to you than just that. But let's go back. So Meg, okay, how did you guys meet?
We met through a dating service.
Uh-huh.
And I was new in town and I was just on this with the intention of making new friends, not, any great expectations or hooking up with anyone, just to get my feet on the ground and get to know. So 1, 2, 3, 4 guys later who wanted to talk about their ex-wives and days in university being the time of their life.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a little bit of a, Really?
Yeah.
Is that it, guys?
Or high school.
Yeah, that too. So, Doug and I hooked up. We, started conversing, and shortly after that, I decided to ring this guy because working at a shop, and one of the girls was leaving, change of life for her, moving back to Colorado, and we're going out for drinks to cancel at the last minute. And I said, let me give this guy a call. So I do that, ring him up, and he's down on his boat having a glass of wine, and the sun's going down.
Oh my God.
The conversation's going on, and finally he invites me down there.
Santa Barbara guy's hanging out on his boat in the harbor.
I've got a different spin on that one, but that's okay.
Well, but you also came here because of our friend Rufus.
Yes, I was living in LA, staying at a friend's house in Redondo, and working for a Italian leather sofa place that was owned by Koreans who were born and raised in the Valley.
My uncle did that too.
And I had said to them, I think I'm more Asian than you guys, 35 years in Indonesia. Yeah. I've never been there.
Well, be clear that you left this out of your bio, that you spent most of your life in Bali, and you're from New York. Born and raised.
Yes, that too. Yeah.
Born and raised. But
there's a few stops along the way. Different, the Caribbean, Hawaii, California, all that stuff. Yeah. Well, eventually ending up in Asia. This is going to be
a 24-hour podcast. I guess.
Pretty much.
The road less traveled. And then again. Yeah. So, Doug and I got together, and he, invited me down for a glass of wine. So Rufus having me come up to Santa Barbara to do the interiors of his house because he just purchased a home. I came up here for a few days. We, just rocked it. We purchased all this stuff and organized tradesmen to come in and do the assortment of, electrical, plumbing, and whatever else needs to be done. He drives him back down and said, what are you doing here? This isn't your life. Why don't you come up to Santa Barbara, live in the house, work with the tradesmen? This is what you do anyway. Go to State Street, go get a job, meet some people. Okay. So
you're leaving out the fact that you're an exquisite interior designer.
I did have my own business for 25 years or so, doing that, shipping containers and working on projects in Bali, mostly luxury villas. Yeah, not hotels or stuff like that.
And exporting jewelry as well.
Yeah, that was earlier days.
I can tell Doug's impressed.
He's my biggest fan.
He's bragging.
Bragging rights. Yeah. So anyway, Rufus was a big game changer for me. Anything he wants forever. It's okay.
Oh, yeah. He's responsible for you being up here.
Yes.
You owe him.
Exactly.
I owe him.
Yeah, you guys owe him.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, he's a great guy. So, just carrying on with getting to know the town, and met Doug and got on the boat, and it was sunset, the sun's going down, and I'd say, oh, do you want to go out and see the sunset over the ocean or over the land? No, let's go. So we go out, and he keeps turning around looking at me, and I'm like, God, this guy's really keen. He keeps looking at me. I later find out he was checking to see if I was getting seasick.
Oh, of course. It was a little bit bumpy. As soon as we got outside Santa Barbara Harbor, the boat was bumping and bouncing a little bit. And, it was fine with me, but, this is a new girl. I just met her, and the last thing in the world I want to do is get her seasick.
Oh, yeah. She's thinking you're checking her out too much. It's like freaking her out.
See, at this point, I didn't realize that she spent a great deal of her life as a chef on a boat in the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to get this girl seasick.
You're so funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we came back into shore, and game's on. It was just so easy and natural and
how fun.
Yeah. Delightful.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're like,
easy
wow,
going.
We're just having the best time of our life.
So our next date was a few days later. We went out to Santa Cruz with friends of yours from Idaho.
Santa Cruz Island.
Yeah. And then our third date was Jackson Brown at the Bowl. So I was like, hey.
Those are not easy. Those are unique first dates.
Yes. He was ticking off a lot of boxes.
Yes. Yeah. You're like, okay, that's amazing.
Yeah. It was all.
And now you guys are.
We're married.
Yeah, what do we do?
We're having a great time together. We're spending more and more time together. We're going out on the boat because we both enjoy the water. We both enjoy the ocean, and both enjoy boating. And before you know it, I had a weak moment. I was down at the beach Meg and I were sitting down at the beach having a glass of wine. The sun was going down, and I had a weak moment, and I looked over at her and I asked her to marry me.
Oh.
And without thinking twice.
Oh.
Did I say she's from New York?
Yeah. Yeah.
She answered me in a New York minute.
I was wondering, like, where are you going with this?
Yeah, so that was our early days right up to the present, pretty much. I mean, in between, we moved back into Doug's home that he built when he was 21 years old, did a renovation, survived that with flying colors. Nobody wants to kill anyone.
Well, you're in a property that's been in the family for a while, right?
My grandfather, who was originally from Washington, D.C., moved out here in 1914.
Oh, wow.
And built a very large ranch house for his 5 daughters and his wife, my grandmother. And my mother and her sisters all grew up in that big ranch house, and it's still there.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, my dad used to work for Walt Disney's. And when they were having trouble shortly after World War II, they fired all their artists, including my dad.
Oh, yeah.
And so he moved back up here to which was a very large ranch house that had no longer 5 little girls in it. And it was here my next oldest sister and I were born. And so we grew up in a house with my mother, my 2 sisters, my brother, my grandmother, and my grandfather.
Oh, wow. That's great.
And it's, and this, we're still on the same property where this house is. One day, I think when I was 21, I asked my grandfather if I could build a house on his property. And he thought, oh boy, this is going to perpetuate the legacy of that large purchase I had all those years ago.
How large, do you mind me asking?
Originally, I believe it was 250 acres.
Oh, wow.
And
that's
then
crazy.
I could be mistaken on that subject.
Okay.
And then it got reduced down.
Okay.
But it's still a family property.
Yeah.
It belongs to my sister, myself, my nephew, and always will.
That's great. Keeping the family property.
Yeah, the heritage.
Yeah, absolutely. having a home base.
Yeah, and I feel very fortunate for us to be able to still live here.
So everybody can come back to the home base, keeping that. Yeah, I think that's amazing. So Meg is also, Meg and I were talking about all the interesting people that we meet here, and you meet people on a regular basis from all over the place at work, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of variety there. Having taken a job at Renaissance, when I first arrived here and I was looking for jobs, I was going anywhere and everywhere. It was just a matter of connecting and going to restaurants and be a hostess and on interviews. And, my car had 3 to 5 resumes tucked in the seat pocket. So you never know when you're going on a job interview. And, just going through these crazy interviews at this point in life when I've, traveled extensively enough and had my own businesses and built houses overseas. That must be
weird.
It just was another adventure.
Yeah.
And, you're going to a restaurant and of course everyone is really young and the people who are interviewing you are the older crowd of the younger set.
Yeah.
And they're asking me, what my experience is. I just got to the point of saying, I've lived overseas and I have my own business. I think I can get somebody to their table.
Yeah, I think I'm old enough.
It's just, it was that insane. And I realized, okay, now I'm getting a little smart mouth because I've really had it with this stuff.
Let me guess, you didn't land the job, right?
No, I didn't get the job. Then I went into Renaissance.
Be clear, Renaissance is a consignment clothing store.
It's a designer consignment shop on State Street.
Yeah, a lot of people.
An amazing place. Yeah, it's really great.
Great stuff. Is my coat still there? Remember I tried that coat on?
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. I don't know if it's still there.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
It was expensive.
Yeah.
Kathy, do you know what it's like to kiss goodbye to your my now wife every morning as she's going off to work in a clothing store? Now, if you worked in a clothing store, you have to dress to the nines every day.
How fun.
This is more like costume.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who do you want to be today?
She's a different person
She
every
gets
day.
to dress up every day.
Yeah, you have 100 girlfriends.
Yeah, exactly. Who are you today?
Right.
Who are you talking to? So yeah, this woman interviewed me and was asking who my favorite designer was. And I've been in furniture and interior design for so long. I've never really been into fashion. Yeah, I enjoy clothing. Mm-hmm. And all I could think of was my friends in Indonesia who were designers and, developing these beautiful lines of clothing. I was like, oh God, that's not going to get me, anywhere with that. But she was great and she hired me straight away. And I started on 4th of July weekend. Uh-huh. And the other girls working there, everyone was just so nice and conscientious and patient and all that, entertaining and all that good stuff. And we're all different ages, completely different backgrounds, and different experiences in life. And the people who come in, it's so fun. The people who come in are from all walks of life, and people are, well educated, and they've had children or not, and they've traveled, and we have consignors from as far away as Europe in there, and all over the States, and it's just it's a very exciting place, and and the education I'm getting, learning about fashion.
Oh yeah,
is another thing.
Oh yeah,
and it's a part-time job, so it's enough. I was 4 days a week. Now I'm 3 days a week, and it's enough in there to keep a hand in and still be able to pursue other interests.
Yeah,
so I'm really enjoying that, and to not have my own business after having that for, I don't know how long I've been in business myself, 40 years or something, with different occupations. It's really great too, to be able to be present. I'm not living on the computer. I'm not in an office. I'm not in a factory. You go to sleep without, clocking how many pieces I'm going to get in that container to ship to that country, and to deal with everything else that goes on with that, the invoicing and the banking and so on and so forth. It's really a joy. It's so much fun, just easygoing, perfect timing.
Mm-hmm. So, what kind of people come in there? Like, who are the customers?
We get clients from local, and people who consign with us come in and shop, because not everybody wants to walk out with a check. They'd rather recycle. So, hey, great, I sold that. Now I can look and see what else is new.
But are the local people like born and raised in Santa Barbara? What kind of people are?
There's that. And then there's people who have moved up from Los Angeles. That's a whole other faction too. And, there's a lot of students that come through who are at UCSB. So there's a lot of Asians, and there's so much variety all the way around. Whether it's a
more times than not, you'll come and tell me a story about how your day went, and it's people from all over the world.
Yeah.
And didn't you just recently say that you heard someone speaking Indonesian, and so you...
I answered them. Yeah, they were talking to each other in Indonesian, and I chimed in with something or other, and we started speaking. And all of a sudden, I had this moment of, "Oh my God, you speak Indonesian! Why is that?
So random.
Who are you?" It's really random. And they happen to have a business here, and I come in on occasion. There are also consigners there, and it's another connection.
Yeah,
to have. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Fun. I don't get to speak Indonesian that often here.
Yeah. Terima kasih.
Sama-sama.
Sama-sama. What does that mean? Sama-sama.
Same. He said thank you, and I said same. So that's
okay. Because there's that restaurant Sama-sama.
Yes, on
now
State
I know
Street.
what that means.
Yes. Same. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to have you guys on this podcast because, one, I think you guys are a whole lot of fun, and
Sama-sama.
And it's interesting the people you meet. I met somebody who was born and raised in Carpinteria, and somebody who's from New York and Bali, and ended up moving up here because of Rufus.
Yes,
and
the plot thickens.
Yeah, and you guys met online, which is great. And you guys
never give up on love.
I was so happy for you guys. When you got married, it was one of the most beautiful weddings that I've been to, and because it was really meaningful and deep. And sometimes you go to weddings and you know that it's not real, or you might not agree with the couple being together.
There's a great joke that Rufus has. He's got a friend that's been married 2 or 3 times, and he runs into the guy in town, Aspen, And the guy says, "Oh, we missed you at the wedding. Sorry you couldn't make it." Rufus says, "That's okay. I'll catch you at the next one." So our wedding was a lot more, I call it organic, because people are asking, what can I get you? And so on and so forth. And we don't need, anything, pots and pans or any stuff that, at this point. So it was more about who was bringing what to it, as far as one friend took care of the playlist and somebody else the soup, and everybody did their bit to contribute something, or a gift certificate to a restaurant, or taking us out to eat, having time with people, and people being able to contribute. And it's always nice to be involved in a festivity.
Absolutely.
And that's what it was. And that was the bond. And maybe when you said you felt that, it was, it was just connecting different people and everybody just having a great day.
I mean, I was really happy for you guys.
We were happy you could make it.
It was kind of. I blessed your matrimony.
Oh, wonderful! Yeah, it was kind of short. It was short notice. I
mean, it was enough. It doesn't have to be complicated. But
that was it. I didn't want to be talking about this for 6 months, 9 months, 18 months, whatever the number is of planning and rearranging. And,
some people make it a little too much work. The other thing is, though, you also met later in life.
Yes. So why wait? What are we waiting for?
There's two things going on there. I mean, like Meg already said it, never give up on love. I'm not going to tell you how old we are, but we're
forever young and fabulous.
Well, of course you are.
There you go.
I know. You definitely are. Anyway, well, it was great to have you guys on.
Great.
It was a lot of fun. I'm so glad I met you, and I find you to be wonderful, dear friends.
Well, the pleasure is ours. And
absolutely.
to have people like yourself in our lives and live in this utopian place called Santa Barbara is I'm living the dream. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we've been blessed.
Yay. Okay, thanks. Thank you again for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if so, please share it with your friends and family and give it a 5-star rating. You can also follow or reach me on Instagram at Living in Santa Barbara. Stay tuned for the next episode, where I'll connect you with more incredible people that make Santa Barbara a wonderful community.